Who gets this? This goes to Ruby? The supplemental agreement. The supplemental agreement for the Department of Transportation. Jeffrey has to sign this. And then where does it go? It goes to Ruby? I don't understand. This is for one phase. Where's Debbie? This is for one phase. This is for 546,000. Oh, we're submitting this for payment. Oh, okay. Okay, now. We know that. Is Jill coming? Do you want to call her? And after it's all done, left-handed, that goes there.
So good to see you.
I don't even, I can't tell you the last 3 weeks, it's like 14 cities.
Oh,
I'm so tired.
Well, stop, Debbie.
And I was
Stop.
so glad that I took away my 2 other trips. It's like, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Just calling you.
I said when I pulled up, I didn't hear psychology. I'm sorry, I told you no, no.
it's all right.
They call like that. Look at us, we're a family.
Oh, Angus here. I know, isn't that a
So
great?
mad. It's not bad. The curls
Oh,
are
no, I like that.
like your hair and.
You know how to do this on here? Because it's on, go to the password for exchange account.
Really?
Oh, that's right, I can't get this, I can't get
Double
this
thumbs
app.
up. You know what, yeah.
Like this.
Oh, because of the, is this a town provided?
Well, it's mine, not both.
Oh, okay.
But I
Yeah, you would have to,
Chris
you would have to
Brown.
emancipate
Who's
it
Chris
technically in a
Brown?
way, and like, we put on your own iCloud, so.
So is it, you could remove
We
it
can talk
and
about
then,
that.
Here too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get this stuff on here. You take notes?
Huh?
oh, very
Yeah,
good.
it's a giant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, back there.
Mm.
I was there 2 years ago.
You know, I can't really remember this like that.
Very nice.
Really good colors.
Yeah, no, we could, until I talked to
Oh, you
you.
did get that, okay.
You're never really in love with it.
Vibrant.
You know,
Paola,
I went, I was
can I
looking at
have
the
an
school on my
agenda?
phone, and a friend of mine who.
I mean, I have it on here, but I just want
Just
to.
happened to be there with his fiance.
Yes.
You want this?
I just like,
I'm just texting Jeff. You ready?
Yeah.
Meeting of April 17th, 2025. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, bless this assemblage. Grant us the wisdom to make every decision fair-minded and the best interests for all its residents. Amen.
Opie, call the roll.
Yes. Councilperson Pamela Jaffe.
Crazily, I'm here.
Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Here.
Councilperson Randy Sellier. Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Here. Thank you. Our first item, of course, adoption of the minutes of March 20th, 2025. If there are no corrections or additions, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next item is comments from the public on non-agenda items. Debbie, do we have anybody on Facebook? And we have nobody in the meeting room. Moving on. We have a few items regarding Crawford Park, and especially the playground. First, we're going to have a presentation, and I'll preface that by saying we've been considering for a long time our wonderful playground and how it can be expanded. Now, one of the problems we had is that we had a tree near the playground, and we couldn't expand the playground when the tree was there. Well, Hurricane Ida took care of the tree. The tree is no longer there. So we are considering expanding the playground into that area. And to that extent, we have requested both Senator Shelley Mayer for funds, and almost surprisingly, we got a grant notification from the New York State Department of Parks for a, I guess it's for playgrounds and other things, and the maximum grant, believe it or not, per application is $1 million. We're not applying for $1 million, not at this point. However, that gave us the opportunity to really dig into it, and we found that AI Engineering, formerly Dolph Rotfeld Engineering, now does playgrounds, and Anthony Zano, who formerly was Deputy Commissioner for Parks in the county, Deputy Commissioner for Planning in the county, has been working with Dolph Rotfeld's company for the last several years and has been planning playgrounds. And this coincided with mine and Debbie's discussions with Vic about planning a playground expansion. So the plans are not complete. They're complete enough to submit to the state, but we're just going to give you a conceptual of what we're doing, because the square footage is the same. How it's going to be exactly filled, we're not sure, but Debbie has a couple of things up on the board. You can see the lower part of the plan is the existing playground, and the portion to the top left is the expansion. So Deb,
Sorry.
you said something.
I
Say
said
it.
it's huge. It's great. It's beautiful.
Well,
I appreciate you pointing out this, correct, is the existing playground? Or is
no,
this-
that's where your hand is now is the existing playground.
Down below.
down below,
It's
there.
actually not as huge as it appears in that sketch.
We're so spoiled, right?
Yeah, there you are.
So here's the footprint that we're looking at.
Okay. Still huge.
Yeah.
Why so big?
That playground gets mobbed on
Yeah.
the
It
weekends.
is
It gets,
packed.
it gets packed.
It is such a popular playground, and the one thing we're missing is equipment for kids that are slightly older. And that's what this is, not for teenagers, obviously, but kids, that go up to the age of 12. That's what we're pitching right now.
This is similar to the expansion that RB did for Pine Ridge about 8 years back, where they had older kid.
Yeah, I think
Stuff
so.
put in?
You'll see, because we have a video from one of the companies that we're really considering. Debbie, do you want to play that?
This looks like Memorial Park.
You can see it's accessible also, see?
The playground at Marinac Harbor is one of the best in the county, and this looks like it's equal to it.
So that's one of the things that we're considering. When I saw that really,
I'm a long way from the metal slides I used to play.
It kind of makes you teary-eyed, right? This is everything we work towards, the accessibility and,
yeah.
And it keeps up with the theme with it's accessible to all children, just like the existing playground that we did. So,
Would you have to kind of market that this is for the older kids to avoid younger kids who might get hurt, being tempted to go
Well,
on?
there's gonna be a separator between that. It'll do younger kids, so it's from 5 to 12.
Yeah.
So, we'll work out the details. The main thing is that this application is due May 2nd.
If we were not to get the grant, which, just worst case scenario, will we not do this, or do we have other?
That's a decision for the council to make. Okay? We've applied for a grant for $250,000 from Senator Mayer. We were discussing this like months ago, and we didn't have any concept as to what it might cost. I know that she's limited in her funds to, giving funds to all of the communities that she serves. So, we requested, I don't know if we're gonna get that much, and how that would complement this, if at all.
So, Debbie, I don't know if you know this, but in the village of Mamaroneck in Florence Park, they just redid the playground. Are you aware of that?
Vaguely,
Right,
I'm certainly familiar with Florence Park.
right. So they completely took out what was there and put in new stuff. You might want to talk to someone about that and see what they did, how they financed it. I know it's, not that my oldest child is now 31, so I haven't been there yet.
my 19-year-old
My
plays on
youngest child is
playgrounds.
older than 31.
And no grandchildren. So, but it looks like it's very popular. And it looks kind of like this concept, but you might want to ask, I understand that they now have a new and extremely competent village manager,
Yes, I know.
as opposed to the buffoon that they had before.
On the record.
I think these are privileged comments, but if they're not, fine.
We have congressional privilege.
Yeah, there you go. But you might want to check that out.
Happily.
No,
Maybe a nice
absolutely. Like,
competitive bid.
this is not a final design, obviously, subject to modification as we go along. We need a basic concept and cost to submit to the state. The cost for this, and by the way, it also includes shade for the existing playground. And it also includes putting tables in for chess checkers, things like that, for people to sit around.
And it's on the schedule here, right here.
Yeah, we've been
So,
talking about
accessible
the checker
chess
tables
Yeah.
for good 4 years now.
Yeah,
Gary,
So-
can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
I feel like I have to always play the devil's advocate, but I have actually heard from constituents about concerns. Part of the beauty of a park is open space and whatnot. Do we have kind of like a master plan of how big we want the playground to be? How many different activities we want to have? Do we want to keep kind of that bucolic feel of trees and open space, or do we want it to be a hub of activity?
well, I think that's a decision for us to make. And later on in the agenda, we have a discussion of pickleball courts, okay? Which fits in exactly with what you're talking about. There are different elements of our constituents that feel different ways about park activities, and we have to recognize all of them. Debbie, how many acres is Crawford Park?
Oh, you're gonna be a tough number here.
I think it's
36 is
38.
what I would have told
I
you.
think, yeah. So there's a lot of open space. So the question is, all of,
Is right here, correct, in the center of the park,
The
by the
activity-
mansion.
right, the activity hub is right by the mansion. And when we get into a discussion of the pickleball, that is also being in that area. It's, we have a separate area where we've now planted our mini forest. And we take very great care to be environmentally sustainable. We have not suggested, for example, putting things in the front of the park, what I call the front, with where
By the
Ridge
sledding
Street
hill.
is. Yeah, which, by the way, was originally set aside as for municipal purposes under the will.
And even down by Lincoln, there's all that open land that's
Yeah,
just got a
yeah.
path.
So, it's a question of what this council wants to do and listen to the various constituencies, because we have people who, want more activity, and other people, as Jill has pointed out, well, it should be a bucolic park, there shouldn't be anything in it, you should just be able to walk and smell the flowers.
Extreme. I think you're presenting.
I'm presenting two
I certainly have
extremes.
never heard anybody say there
No.
shouldn't be anything.
I am presenting two extremes,
Okay.
that we must meet in the middle somewhere to compromise.
I.e., we know that we were never allowed to put in a public pool due to the conditions. And
Yeah,
that is
well,
something that, constituents
people
have
have-
asked multiple times.
Look, people have come up to me, and I don't know if they've come up to all of you, but they've certainly come up to me and say, why don't we put a community swimming pool there? Why don't we put 2 or 3 tennis courts there? Okay,
I've had that a
So-
lot too.
right?
We put a YMCA.
Right.
And we've
But we
discussed,
cannot. We
we've
cannot.
Yeah,
discussed,
oh,
we've
okay.
discussed bocce courts.
Oh,
We've
right, I
discussed these
recall.
things. So, these are ongoing discussions, and we want to listen to what the people want, but we already have a playground. It's a successful playground. It's only gonna be expanded. What is that, what are the dimensions there?
Well, it looked like nearly doubling the size.
No. Let me just see.
Tommy, you may consider a motor speedway.
Go
Just
kart
looking at the
track.
secret resolution. It's
No, but there was something
approximately,
we showed, maybe it was like
it's a little over 2,000 square feet.
and what is the existing playground?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, you're saying this will be an additional 2,000 square feet?
2,000 square feet.
As opposed to how much square footage does the current playground take
It
up?
looks from there,
So it's,
looks,
Doesn't seem like
the
a
proposal is
No.
42,
Okay.
the proposal is 42 by 47.
That's not a giant.
no.
Okay, oh, I see, the thing in the back,
So,
that's just gonna
I
be a
mean,
shaded.
You can roughly eyeball it, and it's 4 times as large, right? The existing playground is roughly 4 times what the proposed
On weekends-
expansion is.
On weekends, it gets used, and there's a crowd of people, kids and, and family members. It does get used.
Listen, if you build it, they will come. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure whatever we put there, people would
Yeah.
use, but we also.
And that's the one thing good about parks, it's for the people, and the people are using it, and that's the main thing.
I mean,
That's how I
I-
feel about it.
I feel
We have a
terrible
trust
if they
program.
weren't, I feel terrible if the people weren't using the park. If we spent a lot of money and nobody came. That would be the tragedy. But by people coming, and you know that, I know that people come from outside of the area, but obviously the people who use the park are within the town of Rye.
Even Lions Park, I notice a lot, since they did their park over, they've got a lot of more people there. So you build it, and if they're using it, why not? If we can get the money, I think it'd be great to do.
And also with the chess pavilion in summer, we do have a chess program that takes place in the mansion. So that actually would free up space in the
Yeah.
mansion for more space rental, if I'm not mistaken. If
There
we're
are
able to.
people, there are people who like to come to a park. You can have people who just come to the park who wish to play chess or checkers. Other people, they come with their children, the children play in the playground, and they watch them and play chess or checkers as well. And those tables could also be used for picnicking, having a sandwich or something like that.
I'd
So,
say it's been successful in New York City, so I know it's a different demographic, but.
all right. So that's our, do you have anything else to add, Debbie? Anybody else have anything to add? Are there any Facebook comments regarding this by any chance?
The other thing is that Mrs. Crawford, when she was alive, she loved to have the kids in her yard. In the wintertime, she used to let them sleigh ride down there. She didn't chase anybody out, as long as they're being behaved, and having fun. That was her thing. She loved to have the kids in her yard.
I love that you know that.
There's nothing on Facebook.
Okay. All right, our next item is a resolution engaging a planning consultant for purposes of SECR. And this came about simply as an outgrowth of the fact that we have to submit an application. And our grant writer, Millennium, sent us what is required, and part of that was setting forth what the secret determination is. So I said, well, we haven't done anything with the secret determination. And as you know, we used to have Beth Evans, who did our planning in SECR, and she retired a couple of years ago, I think in 2023. And basically, I've been kind of doing it. And I do have a background as a planning board chair, but I'm not a professional planner. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity to go back to hiring a planner, and I spoke to the Village of Rybrook. Their planner is now Hardesty in Hanover, formerly F.P. Clark, whom I dealt with when I was a trustee there, and who I dealt with as the planning board chair. They do very good work. And I think it's time that we engaged a planner to do whatever seeker is necessary. Right now, it is only to do the seeker resolution for the playground. And Sarah Brown, who is their primary planner, will be doing the work for us. And her rate is $235 an hour. And before you is a resolution engaging H&H together with the proposed agreement. So,
I mean,
comments?
As the environmental or sustainability chair, I did push Gary a bit on this and ask, because an open-ended, consultant agreement, it was like, so what's the cost? What are the hours? And at least for the playground, you said it was an hour at the rate.
Correct.
So I said, I appreciate your transparency, because according to the AOT, that doesn't need to come before the board. But I think we all appreciate that you've been doing this work, and it would be great to have a consultant, a professional consultant on
To
board.
make sure it's done right. We
I mean,
haven't been
It'll be
sued
done
yet.
right either which way. But,
Thank you, Pam. So,
but
any
just so you
further-
know, someone did like nudge at Gary for more details. So,
Thank you. I appreciate the nudge, keeping me on my toes. If no further questions, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. The next resolution is in fact the secret resolution for the Crawford Park Playground expansion. And it is noted as a type 2 action that requires no further processing under the secret regulations.
I have a question.
Yes.
The freaking porous rubber safety surface.
Permeable.
It never lasts.
It's permeable.
Yes, does that mean that we're not gonna have to cover it in concrete like we've done in the past? Like, our permeable, we've had to replace the permeable within 3 years of it being laid. Correct, Tommy?
We didn't have to replace it, we had to patch it.
Patch it.
We've
Okay.
had some patches.
Okay.
That playground is at least 7 years old. And we've had a couple of patches, and I think they come mostly from people wearing spike heels on the playground.
We had queries as to why so quickly. So it was about 3 years in that we started
Yeah.
seeing degradation.
We started having problems with
I would mention that what you may be remembering is we did have to put down a different surface for the sensory garden.
yes.
Yes,
The surface that was spec'd out by our landscape designer for that project was not meant for the level of,
Traffic.
thank you, that was the word I was looking for.
Good
That
word.
it's receiving. And so that surface did have to be patched several times, and then we replaced it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The playground, there's, the only problem with the playground that it gets is if women go in there with high heels, and then it spikes it. And we had some there, but the outside, this, like I said, the sensory garden just got beat up. It just had so much foot traffic in there, and it just started getting divots in it like crazy. So that's the reason why I had to redo that.
All right, so
Yeah,
Tommy, I
the
take your
playground-
lead here.
right,
Excuse
the
me?
playground
I
has
take
been
your lead
good.
here. This is your area.
Playground has been good, and this is the best surface. This is the surface that other playgrounds
Yeah.
have now. Not wood chips, not, other stuff.
No,
This
it's
is
nice and
what's-
bouncy. It's great for knees and feet.
Yeah, you fall, you bounce.
But still, I just want to make sure that we're not replacing it in 3 years.
No, that was a sensory garden.
No, so basically, the expansion is the porous rubber surface, a small amount of concrete pavement for additional seating, a stormwater infiltration system, safety barrier netting system, that's because of the ball field next door, and installation of shade structures and play equipment. So if there are no further comments, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer? Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Now, going back to what Jill alluded to, a discussion of a possible pickleball facility in Crawford Park. I don't know about some of you, but I have been approached several times by residents who say we should put pickleball in Crawford Park.
It's a contained unit, correct? Pickleball?
Yeah.
It's a small tennis court, it's half the size of a tennis court.
It's half the size of a tennis court.
Yeah.
And we've been discussing it, and the place that it would be put would be the area directly behind the pavilion on that, to the right of the exit road.
So like green space by,
You know where the walking trail is? You know where the garbage containers are? Over there,
okay.
yes.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of out of,
So, for what it's worth, because I alluded to the renovation of Florence Park in the Mamaroneck Week, and
There was a
there
big
was a
pickleball
huge
issue.
controversy about a pickleball court, and the residents in the area surrounding the park were adamantly opposed to it because apparently pickleball creates a lot of noise. It's like a wiffle ball. And I don't know what, in my mind, it's not clear how many people would be affected by that, but that, I can just say that there was, I would say, fierce opposition to the noise that would result. And it was canceled, I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, and when you talk to the new village manager, you can ask about this, I think, and I may be wrong, because I'm not a pickleball player and I don't care that much,
Debbie
That-
is, so she might know.
that they were going to put a court in Harbor Island Park where the noise issue, you know, it's not so close to, you know, Florence Park, if you know it, is surrounded by houses. And so that's going to be an issue, I assume, depending when.
Is this back
What-
onto Talcott?
No,
No, it's on the other side.
Okay.
no, let me just say, Randy,
Oh, no, yeah, I'm
you're
sorry.
absolutely right. And that's why we're having this discussion now, before plans are formulated, so that people who see this meeting or hear about this meeting can weigh in.
Well, can I just ask, based on where it is?
Debbie, can you call up
Do
Matt?
you think it's going to be, is that an issue?
It's a possible issue. There are some houses, not a lot of houses. However, Debbie happened to have a discussion at the Municipal Officials Association last week with officials from Eastchester who did build a pickleball court and put up a sound barrier fence around it that they say has been very successful in eliminating the sound. Am I correct, Debbie? Do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, well, I've played on a pickleball facility with noise mesh fencing around it. It's quite effective at dampening the noise. I would also say that, you know, the noise issue is well known, and there are paddles and there are ball advances in the technology which is reducing the irritating noise. But of course, if you've got somebody who's got old balls and old paddles, that's only as good as, you know, they don't have them. But the mesh is quite effective at keeping the sound in.
But is the mesh costly?
It looks like a windscreen, so this has not been priced out. We don't have a budget. This is a conversation to have.
We know from informal discussions that these courts, depending on their construction, could cost $60,000 to $80,000 each. So if you put in 3 courts, it might be $250,000 or so.
How much room does that take?
I am not,
And how much is the high-tech netting and the special
Excuse me.
paddles?
Jill, I am not suggesting that we expend town tax dollars to do this. certainly not at this point.
That's
What we would
done.
do
Thank you.
is seek grants, either from our state officials or, you know, and as we're doing with the playground, from state parks during their grant,
I'm going to go crazy here
announcements.
and say, what about sponsorships? You know, just as Pine Ridge Park and the high school ball fields have sponsors, have we ever
We
looked
could
into
ask for that. We
sponsors?
tried that with the bocce courts and didn't really get success that
But
way.
I feel like
We could try
pickleball
again.
might be a little bit
Where
more.
are all of our new pickleballers and
Yes.
kids playing parking, by the way? We're attracting tons of people to the park, to the parks, except for the people,
By the
where are
way,
all the people parking?
The Rye Brooks pickleballers think they're playing at Crawford Park.
I'm
They are
sorry?
playing on the, they play on the basketball courts
Uh-huh.
in Rye Brooks Park, High Ridge. Right,
Rye
they
Hills.
park here at Crawford Park and they walk over to the
So the
basketball
same group of
courts.
people that we're kowtowing to build them $250,000 courts are just gonna park where they've always been parking here? Is that what you're telling me? I'm so
No,
confused.
you asked where they're playing. I was answering that
No,
question.
I'm sorry, my question was parking, because we've already said we're doing all these things to attract all these people to the park, which is so great, except where are they all parking? On our grass, and then do we have to build something? You see, what happens is we are well-intentioned in everything we do, but everything we do creates subsequent things that require money to fix or solve. So it all sounds great, it's an expensive proposition, it will create other problems that we will then have to remedy, and I'm skeptical, and that's all I'll say.
Jill, your questions are well raised, and that's why we're having a discussion.
Okay.
Because, you know, what I've heard from people who play at Rye Hills Park is they don't take care of them. You have to bring your own nets, your own equipment, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I've heard. I don't know, I'm not a pickleballer.
Well,
But these are discussions that need to be had. You're absolutely correct. We're not proposing 20 pickleball courts, okay? My view is that you'd probably put between 2 and 4. And if you play doubles, that's 4 people per court.
Wait, who's scheduling? Like, are we gonna have people?
That's to be discussed also.
We might have to
because-
hire someone, because then it'll get so popular that
No,
we
no,
need,
well,
I
it
mean, it's
depends. I mean,
foreseeable.
I would think that you would handle it the same way that towns handle tennis courts with permits, that would issue permits for pickleball, that they would pay a fee of X dollars per year to be able to go on the courts. And we have park attendants. I mean, obviously, they're not gonna be played on in the wintertime. We have park attendants, and they could check the IDs. There might be sign-up times. We have, we could take, for example, the way Westchester County signs up for golf times. You know, do it online, and this is your time, et cetera, et cetera. So there are different ways, but we are beginning the discussion. It's not happening tomorrow, it's not happening next month. What I would hope to do, if it's permissible, to be at least far enough along, normally the consolidated funding application,
uh-oh.
whoops, that's me. I usually have it off. The consolidated funding application comes out and is due in July, and perhaps we would be far enough along at that point to make an application for funding. That's what I would envision. If we are-
Is there some sort of tremendous unsatisfied demand for pickleball courts?
I don't think we have courts here, but we have a lot of people who play locally.
No, I meant in the area.
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
It's a lot
so.
of demand. And hopefully, when people find out about this discussion, they're gonna come forward and say, yeah, what a great idea, we're gonna have pickleball. And other people will come in, oh, no, we don't want the pickleball courts at Crawford Park. And then we'll have a discussion about it.
I just want to put on the record, because my time here is, you know, I won't be here forever, so I just want to say that.
None of us will be.
Yeah, considering, you know, the continued expansion of the mansion, the park, it might be wise for us to formulate some type of a master plan, because I foresee this thing really taking on a life of its own. Maybe somebody thinks it'd be cute to have a kiddie land with little rides. Maybe, I mean, a pool, like, it's endless. So maybe we just want to have a grander vision of like, okay, but here's the line, because I don't know the makeup of the group that's pushing for pickleball. I just, every suggestion seems to be, no one's here certainly, I don't know if they saw it was on the agenda, but I just have to question, because there's always a sort of unsolicited, it's never for me some huge need, oh my God, you know, okay, the electric charging maybe, you know, things like that, but this just seems like something some people want. It will definitely impact the people that live around here. We cannot minimize that just because none of them are here. I have to think if I'm living over there, I would be not happy. So I'm just saying, it's just all,
Right.
okay?
Now, this is where Betsy Brown Road is, right? This is at the dead end. More towards-
Can you go over and point where the proposed court is in some way?
Gary, I don't know, so you're gonna have to talk me through it.
If I,
You know, Debbie, we need to invest in a laser pointer.
Now that I get.
Oh, you got it,
Yeah.
right there, right
I say
right
we
there.
go over to the dollar store.
Or at
No,
least,
back right there.
right there.
It's right here.
right in the
there.
back by the tree, now you have, that's by Betsy Brown, by the dead end of Betsy Brown.
Where
And-
the cursor is now?
Yeah,
Yes.
it goes
Well,
back.
that's gonna
further.
drive a lot of people crazy.
Yeah, and then you also have the tree line there, you know, the thicket back there during the, you know.
It's gonna drive a lot of people
It-
crazy.
it's,
from what I-
yes,
And
but,
that's the tail end of Talcott.
yeah. So, you know, what I would think is like, yeah, let the people have their opinion, they're hearing this, let them have their say, what they wanna do.
Yeah, could we do a,
I mean, we did it with the playground.
Yeah.
had
Can we
the
do a
mailers-
community
we had
outreach?
mailers go out, what the people wanted for the playground, we did it with the playground, we should do it with this too. I
You
think.
can put it
that's
on
fair.
Text-my-gov.
Yeah, text my gov,
we can do.
you know, cause
completely
now
do
you
community
don't have
outreach.
to do a mailer, you can do it right on the phone.
Interested,
you know.
yes or no? And Debbie, how are our responses to Text My Gov,
Hey, Jack,
to our SMS mailings?
It's been very successful.
real
fun.
fast.
It's fun.
Don't do it.
I love it.
It's a crowd, the neighbors are gonna request.
You know,
I think we need to think about the location if we're gonna do it, like.
Well,
to
there
have
are
it
other
right
possible,
there.
look, I'm raising,
first of all, you're not, oh, sorry.
Tommy,
Yeah.
I'm raising this issue. On the agenda, it says the word discussion. It doesn't say resolution.
Yeah.
It doesn't say decision. It say discussion.
But this is in the middle of nowhere, it just is a bunch of trees and a bench.
And we can build a parking lot, and we
No,
can
no,
build a
no,
tram.
no, no,
and
they,
we can do-
no,
I mean,
we don't want to.
But
I mean, look,
why
you
don't
could
we? I'm
also,
sure people would want that and be fun.
you could also put it down towards Lincoln Avenue.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jill. Excuse me. We could also put it down by Lincoln Avenue, you know, across from the caretaker's cottage as another possible area. Of course, the problem there is that there's really no parking over there.
Yeah.
So here,
I think that Jill had an excellent idea. I think an overview, a master plan. I mean, one thing, a thought that occurred to me when I drove here tonight, which all that, as you come up, all that space on the right, it's kind of just an empty, grassy space.
Well, when it snows, or when it used to
It's
snow,
sledding.
kids would go sledding there. I mean,
There isn't any more snow anymore, so forget that.
But it
Snows in
did
April.
used to be-
And
No, that's what I meant, Randy, that's what I meant when I said the municipal park. The part on Ridge Street, when you enter the park, right to the right.
yeah,
That was designated as municipal space in the will.
right, but now it's just an open grassy area.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it'd be nice to just plant some trees there. or
This area here.
Yeah.
what, I don't know.
There's some trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I think,
but I think the idea of a master plan, rather than some people ask for something, do this, some people ask blah, 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 to have that kind of comprehensive plan. I mean, we just agreed to
But we need to
planner.
budget for that, because we did it with
Oh.
NYU, the Stern School, and came back,
Wagner, but
or
yes.
Wagner School,
Yeah.
came back with dead nothing. So we would actually want to budget for it in the next budget to get a professional to help us with it.
What do you think it might cost?
Probably something on the order of $10,000 to $20,000.
If it's going to
And
bring
that's
back
low
revenue,
volume, I'm guessing.
Does CRG do this kind of thing, or would we?
CGR?
CGR. I don't know.
I would be shocked if they don't, because they apply themselves to all things municipal, but I haven't explored
I'll
it.
tell you who might. H&H. The planning consultants we just hired,
Yeah, that's, exactly, that's, I thought
they need to give us
I
an
thought I
hour
said
outlay.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
don't
the
need
interesting
one
thing,
along the way.
Text.gov just presented to us a new survey tool that they are just rolling out. This might be a great,
Fine.
No,
very easy question. That's not a master
But we
plan.
still need
Yeah.
a professional to help us craft that survey.
Yeah.
and also, you're not gonna have a whole bunch of cars coming at one time to play on 2 courts or 3 courts, whatever you decide to do, because you're gonna have a time slot. People are gonna have to come, they're gonna have to say, I wanna play a certain time, and in Old Greenwich now, they just opened up their new Civic Center, which has a pickleball court, and they have free time, because they have tournaments and stuff, but they have their free time. But to have their free time, they have to plan it in advance, and they have to set their times. So, that's one thing that's gonna happen. You're not gonna have a free-for-all where people are just gonna come. They have to tell in advance, you're gonna tell them that whatever free time we have for them to use the courts, and that's when they're gonna use it. So you don't have a bunch of people coming all at once. So it's
We could
controlled.
What's gonna
also,
happen like at night if kids come to the park?
we could also work with both the Rybrook and Portchester Recreation Departments that run all kinds of programs for all kinds of people. You know, as I say, this is a beginning discussion. If people say, and there's a ground, look, I don't know how you determine interest or lack of interest. Obviously, there will be opposition, as Randy pointed out, okay? Is the opposition of 10 or 12 people something that should be heard as opposed to the voices of 1,000 people? I don't know the answer to that.
Listen,
I
they
think
need
if
to
it's
Those
something-
hypothetical
It's like a
numbers,
local
Pardon?
election,
You're
they need to
throwing out
respond.
hypotheticals.
I'm throwing out hypotheticals as to, you know,
And
what
then you
we
might
need
have
to
to
do.
switch them, but that's just.
Well,
You think there are thousands of residents of the town of Rye that are clamoring to play pickleball at a local site, but yet only 10 or 12 that will object to having.
No,
it?
I'm not saying, it could be you're right, it could be reversed.
Okay, if we're,
It
showing
could be reversed.
hypotheticals, I
I
mean,
think
just have to
we're
be realistic.
underestimating the noise impact.
Sheila, you have something to say? You wanna
Can
go to
you
the
step up,
microphone?
please?
As a tennis player, I think I play tennis next to pickleball courts, near pickleball courts all the time.
Nobody can hear you, Jeff.
come on,
Come on, counselor.
up there,
Go ahead,
go on.
take the microphone.
Okay, I'll
We're
propose a
having a dis-
hypothetical.
we're having a
Suppose there were
discussion.
tennis players that said that they play pickleball all the time, excuse me, next to pickleball courts all the time, and the noise is in fact deafening.
This is quite out of my lane in terms of this discussion. There's no legal issue here, so I just wanna like give you a little bit of insight as an active tennis player.
Excuse me 1 second. I've always thought in councils that I've been on, that your position, you are the equivalent of the fifth Beatle.
Oh, dear.
And
He's
should-
not elected, so
The
he
Beatle
cannot
that
be
quit.
anything.
Six Beatle.
I appreciate that. I think that, I think that you need to very, very carefully consider the noise impact. This particular sport, I'm very familiar with a lot of the racket sports, paddle sports and what have you. This particular sport makes a lot of noise. Now they've tried, I think there's some technology out there that they're trying to deaden the ball a little bit. I don't think that's really taken hold yet. But the noise issue from the surrounding areas around pickleball courts. It's a real thing. And I would just say, as you guys deliberate to maybe take a field trip to a pickleball court and hear and see for yourself. It's a wonderful game. I happen not to play it, but if it's in a residential area, you should be prepared for a robust, let's put it that way, conversation from homeowners about
All right.
the noise.
That is fair enough. That is fair enough. Paula, did you want to say something?
I love pickleball.
Go ahead, talk. If Jeff can get up and speak, so can you.
So I'm gonna say that I really like to play pickleball, and changing a little bit of the positive side, it could bring tourism, potential economic growth. We can charge for tournaments, events, and it will be fun, like improving our health, everything. I just like it. That's my personal opinion.
Where do you play? Where do you play?
Stanford, at the mall. It's really expensive, so it's $55 each.
So, we have a Port Chester resident going up to Stanford to play pickleball. So obviously there's a demand for it. Question is whether we should do it at Crawford Park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Bella.
I
Okay,
don't even think that Lifetime has pickleball, do they?
yes.
Oh, yeah,
They
they
do.
do.
They
Okay.
Lifetime converted several tennis courts to pickleball. I think they've like 4 or 5, anyway.
Okay. Just saying
So
it.
it's become much more popular than tennis, especially for the older population.
In Old Greenwich, because I work in Greenwich now, like I said, they just did the new community center, and they're gonna be putting up 3 more pickleball courses. They already have 1 outdoors, they're gonna be putting 3 new ones in, plus they have the indoor. So it's very, very popular.
I'm all for revenue gaining. I just would love to see a plan.
That's why we're having a discussion. I keep saying, we're having a discussion.
All right, Gary, can
There
we get a
is no
plan?
plan.
Can we get a plan?
Pardon me?
Can we get a proposal or a plan?
Before we get a proposal or a plan, I think we need to determine if there is in fact community interest in putting anything there. Or if there's substantial community opposition, as Jill has indicated. So, we'll go forward, we'll see how it percolates. And I think Jill's idea, Randy's idea about doing a study, a master plan for Crawford Park, a real study, is warranted. I think it's time that we did that. The park is extremely popular, and, we kind of did it originally with a lot of community input, but I don't think we had any real professional oversight planners, and I think it's time that we did that. And we should inquire as to what it would be.
How, with text.gov, how hard would it be just to send them a blast out, just to get a feeler? Are you interested in doing a pickleball course? Yes or no? And then we can get
Super
easy.
feelers from that. That, I think, would be the simplest and least
Okay,
expensive way of doing
But
something.
I'm not sure that wording is right, because if someone is asked, are you interested? I mean, they could say no, but they could actually be actively opposed to it.
Well, we could.
So maybe you need to say, are you opposed to having
Yeah, well,
pickleball
that's-
courts built?
Jill, the
1 to
question
5.
is important.
Yes.
You can't just do one.
Right.
We are considering putting 1 or more pickleball courts at Crawford Park. Would you think you'd be supportive? Strongly? Do you think you'd be in opposition? Strongly?
It's probably more work to analyze the data, but I feel like it will give a better sense
Yeah,
than simply yes,
absolutely.
no
We can have
to
somebody-
a question that's
We can have a
loaded to begin with.
professional ask the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like we did for the park, We had the questionnaire go out.
Yeah.
And now we have text.gov, we don't have to mail anything, it doesn't cost us.
And suppose it would increase your property tax by $10, $20, $50.
Or decrease, depending on where.
Or let's get some sponsors in.
Oh, come, we're having a showing, there
All
happens to be a
right.
pickleball tournament.
Guys, this is great. We've had our discussion. Discussion is now over.
Thank you, Gary.
Moving on to the next item. Resolution authorizing the acquisition of certain property from the Westchester Land Trust. This is in relation to what we call the Otter Creek Bridge, which is subject to a substantial grant through the Bridge New York program. As part of the project, a certain amount of land needs to be acquired for the bridge proper that is currently owned by the Westchester Land Trust. We've had extensive discussions with them. We've agreed as to what land needs to be acquired, obviously with the aid of our engineering firm HVEA, and had a survey done, et cetera. The total square footage to be acquired is 6,719 square feet, of which most of it is a temporary easement for construction equipment. The actual fee acquisition, or the title, is 2,177 square feet. And that's over 2 separate parcels. To give you an idea of how big that is, 50 by 50 is 2,500. So this is less than that.
This
So it's a
is,
small amount of land that we're acquiring for the bridge. Pam?
this is an additional funding. We do we already have funding in there as far as, like, the property, and we've just been hearing from landowners around the area. So I'm just trying to think if I'm in the right bridge.
I don't know what bridge
This is-
you're on.
This is
I know,
likely-
I'm on one bridge.
This
You
is
may
gonna
on
be
the other
included
bridge.
in the grant amount, so not additional
Okay.
funding.
All right,
And the,
this is the crew
the
of
neighbors,
residents.
the neighbors that we've been hearing about are
Mhm.
concerned about the ospreys.
Mhm.
They're concerned about their view and the utility pole locations. There's one neighbor who's concerned about Mamaronneck's roads, which has nothing to do with us.
Nothing to do with us, but I want to say we already have some sort of grant in place for land there, or no?
Yes,
Yes, and this is just in addition to that of a
this
small.
this is to authorize us to purchase a piece of property.
Mhm.
Okay, the total cost is $1,650. There will be additional costs for legal fees and for title search and for title insurance. However, most or all of this will be covered by the grant, which is a 95% grant. And there is another resolution following this one that the state requires. But this one is to authorize the taking of title, as if we were gonna buy any other piece of property.
Is that the
property-
piece that's-
Excuse
I'm sorry.
excuse me. The property is described in Schedule A. That was done by a surveyor. And this is a friendly transaction with the Westchester Land Trust.
And the land reverts to them.
No,
No.
It stays
Well, the
here.
temporary land does, yes.
Yes,
the easement does not belong to us. The easement is for construction purposes.
We're buying 2,177 square feet of land,
Correct.
For
and we're getting an
$10,000.
easement on 4,542 square feet.
And
That
the
is-
Which I
reason
think
is,
is where the equipment can rest during the construction.
legally, we are
That is correct.
required to own the footprint where the bridge stands.
okay.
According to the state.
Randy, I
We're
see to
talking
you.
$1,600.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
if Randy makes a motion, I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yeah.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yep.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yeah.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. The next resolution, I have to preface this. This resolution is required, we were told, by the Attorney General of the State of New York in order to get reimbursement from the Bridge New York funds. Basically, it revolves around the, they call the project here, the acquisition of the land. I'm trying to find the exact.
Is it the last resolved on the page?
Talking on page 49.
No, it refers specifically to the acquisition of the title. I read this thing so many times and, oh, yeah. The second resolve, that the council authorizes the town of Rye to pay 100% of the cost of right-of-way acquisition work for the project, with the understanding that qualified costs may be eligible for reimbursement. And it sets forth the sum of $10,350, which refers to the part of the grant. The total grant for this project is about $4.8 million. So, what I'm saying is that this is required by the Attorney General. And basically, it says that if we go over the cost allowed, we have to pay for it. So that's my interpretation. Anybody have any other comments? I don't want to rush this if somebody wants to talk about it. Nobody? Okay. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
I'll second.
Call the
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. The next set of resolutions are tax certs, our favorites. Who wants to handle this, Charlie or Jeff?
Good morning. My allergies are really kicking in right now.
Do you play pickleball?
No,
Just
Were you hitting the head with
withdrawn.
pickleball?
I withdraw that question.
All right, which resolution is the first one?
Portchester.
Portchester Rehab? All right, this is a case back from 2017 to 2021. We were able to get 4 of the years withdrawn. 1 year was a reduction, about 2.7 million off the AV. This is something that's been going on for the last couple of years with some issues getting some of the paperwork done. So the school district, the village are aware of the refunds, but it was a large case where it could have been much worse than where we ended up at. But going forward, there's no issues, there's no further refunds. They have not come back after the 2021 year, so looks like we're in good shape.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jaffe? Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer? Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes.
The
The
next
next
one.
one is
509 Westchester.
509 Westchester.
This is a converted residence. This is a small office and apartment on Westchester Avenue. There was 1 year at stake, 2020, minor reduction of 31,900 off the assessed value. Very small reduction, and that's pretty much that on this one.
Thank you. Any questions? Motion and a second, please. Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jaffe? Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Selyer? Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, yes, and thank you. 306 South Regent.
All right, this is a two-family house on South Regent. It was partially demolished before our taxable status date. The town was not made aware of it. Due to it being for 2024, there's no refund for the school or the village. There's a $200 refund from the town, so no real exposure for anyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to say,
I was gonna
motion and a second, please.
Okay.
Second.
You said okay?
Okay.
Why not?
Councilperson,
I beat Randy to it.
Why not? Okay, sure.
I think you probably have to say you're making a motion just for.
Go on, Randy, say it.
Okay, I move that question.
Would you like to second it?
No, I want Tommy to second it. He looks PC.
Second.
okay,
This is-
Council,
Okay.
I second,
Okay, come on.
I second that emotion.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod? Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes,
Oh my God, we're only an hour in and we're all punchy. It's not good.
It's been a long day.
this has really deteriorated. We started out really, really well. I think it's the pickleball that did it. A resolution to declare a list of electronic waste as surplus. Debbie, what is all this about?
If you see the backup for this resolution, it is a very long list of very old computer equipment. For years, as laptops became too old, they literally were mothballed. Rather than getting rid of them, they just went into a storage room. Till our new IT service provider showed up and, if you recall, facilitated a move that we had to make to new firewalls, to do a new level of cybersecurity, and they took a good look at that room and said, we gotta get rid of this stuff. So largely that's what this is, except there are other pieces of that that are as a result of the switches and the servers that were upgraded as part of our long-planned capital project. That's what this is.
Are they going to get rid of it safely
Yes, they
and
are.
recycle whatever can be recycled and whatnot?
Correct.
Okay.
Are these going to be sold at all?
They are not.
They are not? They're going to be destroyed?
Parts.
We're going to call our handyman who picks this stuff up and takes it to a computer recycling
These are not,
refuse area.
these are not donatable to,
They are
No.
not.
They're parts that have been.
okay.
And they also
Well, and if
have
they
I'm
are,
out.
I'm more than happy to explore
I'm
that.
asking.
I've had a conversation with DCC about it, and these things have been wiped, they are safe, and they are useless.
All right. The resolution here is only to declare a surplus. What happens after that is up to the administration. May I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yep.
Councilperson Axelrod? Councilperson Selyer?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. That ends our resolutions. We have a couple of reports. Community cleanup, spring of 2025. I wonder who's going to be here for that.
Hello,
Brian.
Brian.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Brian.
How are you all doing tonight?
Good.
So,
Introduce yourself.
yes, so.
We know who you are.
Yes, but for the audience at home, I'm Brian Sullivan. I help to organize the cleanup days, and
You helped organize the cleanup days?
I organize the cleanup days.
Thank you. Brian does the work.
So our spring cleanup is fast upon us. It's 2 Saturdays away. It's Saturday, May 3rd, and it's going to be at 4 different sites across the town of Rye and the city of Rye. So we've got the Pasilipo Community Center in Rybrook, which is always in need of people. We've got the Mamaroneck River down in Rye Neck, which is a beautiful site, always in need of cleanup.
Always in need of
Yeah.
people.
always needs people. There's always trash coming in from upstream, so, you know, it's a nice spot to clean up, and it always needs the help. In Port Chester, we're cleaning up downtown again. We'll have pizza afterwards. It'll be a good time for everybody. And then in the city of Rye, they're gonna be cleaning up the Rye Nature Center. So, you know, please come along. It'll be a good time for everybody. Weather will probably be great, and community service hours are available for anybody who needs them.
Can you guarantee great weather?
No,
Okay, thank you.
You know what? Today
Because
would
I
have been a
remember
perfect
a
day.
really rainy cleanup day.
Literally, I was
remember being the only
walking
one
today, I was
outside.
like, this would have been perfect.
Yeah, no, today was great, so hopefully we'll get something like this, but, you know, hopefully it'll be good. If it's not, we have a rain date set up, which is the following day, Sunday the 4th.
Okay,
And yeah,
thank you.
that's 9 AM to 11 AM.
Thank you, Brian.
But wait,
Thank you.
there's more.
There is more. So we also have EcoFest.
Oh, you're doing EcoFest. I thought Pam was gonna do it.
No,
You're
it's
doing
Brian. Pam
EcoFest
has
too.
been traveling for 3 weeks. Brian is in charge of all the world.
EcoFest.
So EcoFest is a great big fair that we're putting together. It's family friendly, it's devoted to the environment and sustainability, and it should be a lot of fun. We've got upwards of 25 different groups committed to participating, and a lot of them are gonna have activities for people of all ages. So it's gonna be right here at Crawford Park, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. We've got people participating locally, from the county, from businesses around here. It should be great, so we hope you'll be able to come. That's June 8th, and it's gonna be 10 AM to 4 PM.
Debbie?
Thank you. So we have coming up our annual community conversation at Rytown Park. We will be featuring, as part of our program, environmental engineers who are conducting a climate adaptation assessment study and developing a plan for Rytown Park. That same group is going to be tabling at the annual community conversation, so in front of the pavilion at Rytown Park. And they have also requested a table for EcoFest. So they will,
They would do EcoFest.
they are very excited to do EcoFest. Yes.
Oddly enough, can I just say, should we ask Pride to come to EcoFest to give us a little pre-boost for, okay,
Sure.
that just came up in my head.
So we do have, where's my Pride flyer?
By the way, if we could ask Sue to put like a squirrel or a chipmunk on the EcoFest, it would make it a lot cuter and a lot less creepy than the little kids.
Oh, it's the same day, then?
Yes, yes.
Pride
different
is the
parts of same day.
31st, correct?
So Pam, do you want to talk about this?
Not necessarily, even Ruby did the last meeting while I was in Minnesota or something.
Okay. So the town's annual Pride celebration will be the afternoon and early evening of that same day, Saturday, May 31st. There will be a tabling fair in one pavilion, an art festival in the other pavilion, and then our flag raising will be at 6 p.m., after which there will be a very brief parade up to a newly painted mural that has been created by the young people of our community, and capping off with a free beach party until dusk.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
Okay, our reports, does the assessor have a report? No report. I know somebody who has a report, if she wants to give it. Crawford Park? Do you? It's here. I see you sitting here, kid.
I'm a proxy for Vic.
You're a proxy for, so you're gonna give the Director of Parks and Facilities report as well?
Everything's going great.
Oh, yes.
There are no
Very good.
problems.
Carissa, I need help. Where is this thing?
That's fine.
Thank you.
We're all springy.
We were all right.
feel like we're sitting around in a coffee clutch or something, right?
Except I'm done with my coffee, so I'm very sad. And then I will sleep tonight.
We could skip it if you want.
Well, there's not much to report. It is a little slow. Oops, did I do something wrong?
No, you got it, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Let
So,
it roll.
for March, we have, it's a little lower than from last year. So this year we have, 9,403 for the gross. And we have a little bit more than last year for waived, which is, 10,470 this year compared to last year. And,
What do you attribute the decrease in private events to?
well, usually during the winter, it is slow. And since it could be the economy, I mean, it is a lot to rent downstairs for some residents compared to the pavilion, which is a fraction of what they would pay for 1 hour compared to the pavilion. So I think that deters people. We have been trying to rent more upstairs during the winter, and it does seem that people are more interested in renting the upstairs rooms to have birthday parties, but the issue is that they're small, so they have to either rent both rooms at the same time to have their events. But, I mean, we don't really know. I mean, I could assume it's the economy.
And it looked like the waived events increased about 50% from 7,300 to
Yeah.
10,000
Yep.
something. Why are we having so many events here?
Well, those are municipal and school.
We have the
Twice as many.
schools, we have, also, since we started in March, we have, the Portchester softball team that's also here, and they're also waived.
You've got a slide where you break that out, right?
The next slide.
Before you get on that, I'd like to find out, following up on Jill's question, there's a difference of about $4,000, and we're just talking March to March,
Yeah.
okay, in the private events. And I don't know that explanation really accounts for it, because did we change the rates from last year to this year?
No,
No.
the rates have remained the same.
So it's unknowable as to why the events went down.
That's just something to keep in mind.
I mean, it might just be a 1-month aberration too.
I also think there is a little bit of unease in the community due to economics.
Yes, of course. Just in this community.
I did have a friend text me the other day. She's holding her husband's birthday party in the mansion. She's like, I think it was Tuesday. She's like, is anyone there? I need to come in. I need to, I want to look at this. I'm like, I have no clue. But, so I know there are people that are still renting space. I just think disposable income is a little.
Yeah, and the stock market. No, I get it. It was something that I noticed, so I
Right,
just
yeah.
wanted to see if there was something you could point to, but.
I mean, we do get people that do come in and they're like, oh, it looks great, we wanna rent it, and then we tell them the price, and they're like,
Right, they
wow.
don't.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like we try to offer upstairs, and they'll sometimes take it, other times they'll say it's just not enough room, and then some of them will say it's just
Do
not
we-
in the budget for them.
We've done cost studies comparing our facility to other facilities, and we tried to price it very moderately. But what you're saying is that people still feel it's too expensive. So perhaps we should look at the model again.
I mean, when, like during the summer, when you tell them the difference between the mansion and the pavilion, they're like, okay, well, let me see if I can get a date in the pavilion.
Have we ever
Because
thought
it's
about
cheaper.
seasonal pricing discounts? I know a lot of venues do that. So if we're not filled in the winter, make it a discount.
I mean, it could be, obviously you guys have to pass that for us to move forward with something like that.
Well, we can't pass anything until we're given a number as to
Mhm.
what we should do. So I think, Debbie, we could look at that. and compare the number of bookings in advance that we have this year. I mean, people don't come in March and say, I want to book in 2 weeks.
No.
They'll want to book, if they come in March, they're going to want to book, for example, in May or June, or
Right.
even further. So what kind of advanced bookings do we have this year compared to last year for the same period of time? Can we tell when people booked events?
I believe it has, when someone submits their lead, we can go based off of that.
So maybe we should see how we're doing, because if people are not booking now for the summer, then we
Oh,
really
it's
should.
already booked for the summer. Like, people have already, May and June, July, they're every Saturday and Sunday. are
In the
pretty
mansion or
much
just the pavilion?
Both.
Okay, so that's your answer.
Yeah.
That's why your season, I think just generally, January,
Okay.
February, March might be slower.
The March, this year's March may have just been an aberration.
Right, but
Okay.
I think remainder pricing might be something to look into. So you're saying no one's gonna book 2 weeks in advance, but if we happen to have the space available and, you know, we have a model for remainder pricing, then that could be a way to nudge up our numbers a little bit
Right.
while we're still
Okay.
paying for staffing needs.
All right.
Also, I want to thank Debbie and I want to thank Vic. We're holding the Holly Color Festival again. And they did work with the organization, and I asked them to personally because we're in a time where equity and inclusion is important. So we did get a giant thanks from the organizer for making it possible for them to hold it this year again. So thank you for doing the legwork and doing the research and working out the pricing so that could continue. I know it was a difficult, you know, procedure and pricing and working it all out, but it's important. And I just want to thank everyone involved.
Right.
So as you can see from last year, there were 100 events, just from January, February, and March, compared to this year for different, from the events of 10 events. And the breakdown from this year for resident events that we've had so far is 10, non-resident 16. Then for the municipalities, for residents is 12, non-resident is 2, and we've had so far 3 public events. And then for the community programs, for fiddleheads that are in the kitchen, it's 10, chess is 19, council for the arts is 11, and then pitch gladiator, which is soccer, so far we've had 6 classes.
Sure, pitch gladiators with the weather warm, that's gonna get more, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then our next concert is on April 25th for the Jam Acoustic Show. That's a free concert. And then our last Westchester Philharmonic would be on Sunday, May 4th.
Okay. Thank you. I don't see Davy here. Did Davy submit a report? I don't see that, no. Carla, do you have anything for us?
Hi. I just wanted to let the residents know that the 2025 bills are out for the town and county. They're due at the end of April. They can pay online. It's very easy. There's links everywhere to pay online. That's the easiest and quickest way to pay. They also can come to the office, mail it into the office or drop it in Dropbox. But to me, the easiest way is online. And we have gotten a tremendous amount of people paying online at this point.
Great.
Yeah. Which is good.
Do you notice an upward trend? More people paying online than sending their checks in than they
Well,
did
we're getting a
before?
lot of checks in daily, but we get reports every night. So yes, we are getting a lot of payments online. And usually through e-check, which is the
Right.
lesser amount to pay, yeah.
So, can you track, in other words, if we would graph it
Mhm.
month by month, for example, comparing the two?
Yeah,
would we s-
Antonio does do that. Do you want to see that next time?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
because I'd like to see if we're increasing our online payments and decreasing our in-house payments.
Okay, all right, sure,
Good, thank you.
you're welcome.
Carla, do you
Yes.
want to mention that the bills are to come to the town of Rhineau, 222 Grace Church Street?
Right, so the bills are not going to the lockbox in New Jersey any longer, excuse me. They're coming to the village at 222 Grace Church. We're not doing a lockbox any longer,
Okay, good.
yeah, which is working, good.
You're happy with it?
Yeah,
I'm concerned with you being happy with it.
oh no, we go through, you can ask Hope, we go through them pretty fast,
Good,
yeah, it's fine.
good, thank you.
Good job.
Good job. Jeff, do you have anything?
Yeah, hi, I'd just like to update the council on our in-rems. We began this in-rem season with 7 properties in-rem. 2 have recently redeemed, so now we're down to 5, and actually just yesterday, I received a call as to the possible resolution this month of the in-rem amount, which is north of $60,000 at this point for 350 Willett. So 350 Willett, I anticipate will redeem before we go for an order of foreclosure. So that's good. So that would leave us with 4. And that's all I have to say.
Great work.
And 3 of them are large. One, if I recall, is at the,
And then,
no, the one is at the condo. The Lifesaver building, what's
They call it to that landmark.
Landmark? All right, that's a small one. Okay.
Actually,
They called you?
yeah, there's a possibility that'll be resolved too. There's a potential purchaser for that unit that called my office that wanted to know what they should do, and the answer to that is basically, you gotta work out with the owner a deal prior to our seeking an order of foreclosure. But, yeah, that's kind of percolating now too.
All right.
Not sure what'll happen there.
So then there'll be 3,
Right.
hopefully. Makes your life easier.
Yes.
Mine too.
just crediting the amount of hours of back and forth you spend talking through all of these with property owners, it's a lot, so thank you.
Yeah, it's, I guess this bears sort of repeating, with respect to the town's position on in-rems. We are not looking to take property. We are not looking, I think I speak for the town. If I don't, then I'm sure you'll correct me. We are not looking to go into the real estate business. All we're seeking to do is have the taxes paid so that the burden on the other taxpayers who do pay their taxes is lessened, right? Because for all the taxes that are not paid, ultimately, the other taxpayers in the town have to make up for that shortfall. And there's more to it, but essentially that's, the essential fairness as it relates to other taxpayers. So what I do is, as this in rem proceeding begins, as I sue them basically for the taxes, my office fields all of the calls and really tries to work with the taxpayer to understand their situation, to understand when they can pay. While we don't provide for payment plans like maybe other municipalities do, or this municipality has in the past, I can do different things with them. I can extend the time, I can work in front of the judge and hold off foreclosure. So I really get involved with these folks if they reach out to me. So if you do have an in rem, a property in this group of properties, and you haven't reached out to my office yet, please do so. I'm not scary. So,
Thank you, John.
okay.
Thank you. One report, town clerk.
I
know
submitted
you-
my
You
report.
submitted your written
but I
report. Do you have
just like
anything
to-
else?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I just want to let the residents know that the municipal shredder, actually, it's the county shredder, will be at the parking lot on June 7th at 222 Grace Church Street. We've been getting a lot of calls on it, but if anyone is watching the meeting tonight, it's June 7th, 10 to 1 at 222 Grace Church Street.
Can I ask an affiliated question? Does the county still do the giant event at Playland parking lot?
Yeah,
They do.
Okay.
Mhm.
they usually do that twice a year.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that doesn't get promoted as much as Hope promotes the shredder. So,
We get a lot of calls, people questioning, so.
Yeah, but I hope, the shredder is only for paper. The county recycling is for
For
everything.
paint. for-
Paint,
Mhm.
televisions,
Right.
old computers,
yes,
Mhm.
old computers. That's what we could do.
old computers.
We can do that.
All right.
Mhm.
Comments from the council members?
Just a lot of opportunities for everyone to volunteer and to participate through May and June. And we didn't talk about Juneteenth here, which I know Tommy is leading, but I do beg council, I do really ask the community and our staff to come to Cleanup Day, to come to the Pride event, to come to our first Echo Fest, support the great work that's been done in the town, and if your kids need community service hours, we're happy to give them, but it would be nice to have everyone come together and support those.
Thank you. Jill?
Mhm.
Tommy?
I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter and, spend some time with your families.
Randy?
And happy Passover.
Randy? Nothing? Nothing from?
I agree with Tommy's comment.
All right, and
Wait,
I'll add to that, I want to wish everybody a happy Easter upcoming and a continuation of a joyous Passover season. It's nice that they intersect like this, and that's all I have. Hope, you want to say something else?
Well, at one time you said Happy Easter, I said Happy Passover as well.
Okay, okay.
So-
So, and with that, a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
we're crazy.
Upcoming
little
meeting,
bats,
May
no.
15th,
May 15th.
possibly with more decorum.